Let me ask you something personal. If you're over 50, do you ever worry about cancer? You're not alone. Most people in their 50s and 60s know someone who has faced it. But here's the surprising part. There's one simple, everyday food mistake that can quietly raise your risk, and the truth is, almost everyone does it. Now, I'm not here to scare you without a solution. I'm here to show you how to protect yourself. In fact, by the end of this video, I'll share 3 easy fixes you can start using today. No crazy diets, no expensive supplements, no gimmicks. Just small, smart changes that could make a huge difference. And I promise the third one will completely change the way you look at your meals. But here's the catch. If you click away too soon, you'll miss the part that actually helps you. You'll get the warning, but not the solution. So stick with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly what this mistake is, why it matters so much more after the age of 50, and most importantly, what you can do about it, starting right now. So take a deep breath, lean in, and imagine the relief of knowing you're not powerless against something as scary as cancer. You'll walk away today with clarity, confidence, and a simple plan you can use at your very next meal. Let's dive in. All right, let's pull back the curtain. The mistake we're talking about is something so common, so ordinary, that you probably don't even think twice when you put it on your plate. It's processed meat. I'm talking about hot dogs, bacon, sausage, ham, deli slices, and those canned meats that seem so convenient. Now, here's the tricky part. For decades, these foods have been part of the American lifestyle. Backyard barbecues, Sunday breakfasts, even those quick sandwiches you grab for lunch. They're cheap, they are tasty, and they feel harmless. But the truth is, when you eat them regularly, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding risk factors that can lead to serious problems down the road. What makes them dangerous? It's not just the fat or the calories. It's the preservatives and chemicals, things like nitrates and nitrites, that help keep that bright pink color and salty flavor. When these compounds get into your body, they can form substances that damage your cells over time. And when you combine that with aging, slower repair systems, more wear and tear, it's like adding gasoline to a fire that's already smoldering. I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, how many times in the past week did you eat one of these foods? Was it bacon with your eggs, a ham sandwich, maybe a quick hot dog? If the answer is more than once, you're not alone. Millions of people over 50 fall into the same routine. But here's the good news. You can change it, and it doesn't have to be painful. In fact, the swaps I'll share later will still let you enjoy your meals without fear. Now that you know the simple food mistake, here's where it gets even more serious. Because it's not just about eating processed meat. It's about the little habits that stack on top of it, quietly magnifying the danger without you realizing it. Let's start with cooking methods. Have you ever loved a good char on your steak or burger fresh off the grill? That blackened, crispy edge may taste amazing, but it's also a red flag. When meat is cooked at very high temperatures, like grilling or pan frying until it's charred, chemicals form that can damage your DNA. Over time, that damage adds up. Then there's alcohol. I know a glass of wine at dinner or a couple beers at the game feels harmless, even relaxing. But alcohol actually makes your cells more vulnerable to cancer-causing changes. And when you mix it with processed meats, you're giving your body a 1-2 punch that it really doesn't need. And we can't forget about salty, pickled foods. Too much salt and preserved food is tough on your stomach lining, and that irritation is linked with higher cancer risk as well. Add on top of that being overweight, something so many of us struggle with after 50, and suddenly you've got a perfect storm of risk factors colliding. The point here isn't to scare you, but to open your eyes. Because once you see the pattern, you can break it. And in the next part, I'll show you why age makes these risks even more dangerous, and why you can't afford to ignore them anymore. Here's the question. Why does all of this matter so much more once you hit 50? The answer lies in how our bodies change with age. Think of your body like a car. When it's brand new, it can handle bumps, scratches, and long drives with no problem. But after decades on the road, the parts wear down, repairs take longer, and one small issue can trigger a much bigger breakdown. That's exactly how your cells work. By the time you're 50 or older, your natural repair systems aren't as fast or efficient as they used to be. DNA damage that once got fixed overnight can now linger, increasing the chances it turns into something more dangerous. On top of that, most cancers don't appear suddenly. They build slowly over years or even decades. So if you've been eating processed meats, drinking alcohol, or grilling your food until it's charred for the last 20 or 30 years, those risks have been quietly adding up. Hitting your 50s is like reaching the tipping point where the damage done meets the slower repair process. And here's another reality. Most cancer diagnoses happen after 50. That means this stage of life is when prevention matters most. You can't change the past, but you can change the future starting with your next meal. In just a moment, I'll share some eye-opening evidence, straight from health organizations, that proves this is not just theory. This is real, and it's been studied for years. Now I know what you might be thinking. I've been eating these foods for years and I feel fine. That's a fair point. But here's the reality. Cancer risk doesn't always show up in how you feel today. It builds silently. That's why we need to look at what the science has been telling us for years. Major health organizations around the world, places like the World Health Organization and the National Cancer Institute, have studied the connection between food and cancer in detail, and their findings are crystal clear. Processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, and sausage have been directly linked to higher risks of colorectal cancer. The more you eat, the higher your risk climbs. They've also found that high-heat cooking, especially when meat gets charred, produces chemicals that can damage DNA. That's not just theory. It's been proven in labs and confirmed in long-term studies of people. Add alcohol into the mix, and you see the numbers spike even more. But here's the encouraging part. Studies also show that when people reduce these habits, cutting back on processed meat, drinking less alcohol, changing cooking styles, their risk goes down. It doesn't take perfection, it just takes awareness and consistency. So this isn't about scaring you, it's about empowering you. Because now you know the truth, and knowledge is the first step toward taking back control. And up next, I'm going to share 5 simple, practical changes you can start making today that actually protect your health, without giving up the joy of eating. All right, enough with the scary stuff. Let's talk solutions, because this is where you get your power back. You don't need to give up all your favorite foods or live on lettuce to stay safe. What you need are a few smart swaps and habits that add up over time. Here are 5 simple changes you can start today. Number 1, cut down on processed meats. That doesn't mean you can never have bacon again. It just means don't make it a daily routine. Swap in turkey, chicken, fish, or even plant-based proteins like beans and lentils a few times a week. Number 2, watch the alcohol. There's no truly safe level when it comes to cancer risk, but less is always better. If you usually drink every night, start with a couple alcohol-free days each week. Your body will thank you. Number 3, change how you cook. Instead of grilling until your steak is black, try marinating your meat first, cooking at lower temperatures, or using the oven or slow cooker. Even microwaving before grilling can cut down harmful compounds. Number 4, ease up on salty, pickled, or heavily preserved foods. Fresh veggies, fruit, and whole grains not only lower risk but also improve digestion and energy. Number 5, keep your weight in check with regular movement. Walking, stretching, or light exercise most days is enough to lower your risk significantly. These are simple, doable, and they won't steal the joy from your meals. And in the next part, I'll show you how to turn this knowledge into action with a little challenge you can join right away. Now that you've got the 5 daily changes, I want to invite you to try something fun and practical, a simple challenge you can start today. I call it the 7-day reset. Here's how it works. For the next 7 days, commit to just one change. That's it. Maybe you swap your bacon breakfast for oatmeal and fruit. Maybe you skip the beer with dinner and try sparkling water with a splash of lemon instead. Or maybe you try marinating chicken and baking it instead of throwing hot dogs on the grill. The point isn't to do everything at once. The point is to prove to yourself that small changes are possible and actually enjoyable. And here's the cool part. When people try this reset, they often notice quick wins, better digestion, more energy, even sleeping better. Imagine how encouraging it would feel to realize you can take control of your health in just a week. I'd love for you to join me. If you're in, drop a quick comment below that says, "I'm in," or "Challenge accepted." Not only will it keep you accountable, but it'll also show others that they're not alone. Because trust me, thousands of people over 50 are looking for the same motivation you are. And when you start to see results, share them. Your story might inspire someone else to take the first step. Now, let's bring it all home. In the next part, I'll give you 3 clear, actionable takeaways you can use immediately to protect your health starting today. So let's bring it all together. We've talked about the simple food mistake, processed meats, and how it quietly raises cancer risk, especially for people over 50. We've looked at the habits that make it worse, the science that proves the connection, and the 5 daily changes that can help you take control. Now, I want you to walk away with 3 clear actions you can start right away. Action 1. Today, replace 1 serving of processed meat with a healthier protein. Try fish, beans, or grilled chicken. Even 1 swap makes a difference. Action 2. This week, pay attention to how you cook. If you're grilling, marinate first, cook at lower heat, and cut away any burnt parts. It's a small adjustment that protects your health. Action 3. Take a hard look at your alcohol habits. If you're drinking most nights, challenge yourself to cut it back by a couple days each week. You'll lower your risk and probably feel better too. Remember, prevention doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small step you take adds up to a healthier, stronger future. If this video gave you value, do me a favor, hit that like button, share it with a friend over 50 who needs to hear it, and comment below with the word checklist. I'll pin a simple 7-day guide in the comments so you can start your journey today. Your health is worth it. Your future is worth it. And the best time to start protecting yourself is now.